Hey, Slater Crusaders. So yesterday, SpaceX was supposed to launch their rocket up into space. First American launch since 2011, obviously the first from a private space company. So those are like the two big talking points. But I remember like kind of reading up on the story and watching the launch that didn't end up happening. It's going to happen on Saturday. And thinking, well, there's got to be more to this. It's going to be like something more interesting than just it's been 9 years since we've launched a rocket in America. And the guy to answer that question is Brandon Weichert, geopolitical analyst, and he's got a new book coming out next month or July called Winning Space, How America Remains a Superpower. And it's going to talk about the Space Force and how we stay dominant there. Are we First of all, hello, Brandon. How are you?
Hi.
Are we dominant in space right now or no, would you say?
We are kind of dominant. The problem is our enemies, notably China, are rapidly catching up. They are competing with us in every potential area, including space. In fact, they've identified space as being probably their most important strategic objective for gaining control over, because obviously if you control space, it's the ultimate strategic high ground. You can control the rest of the terrestrial domains, land, sea, air, and even cyberspace, obviously because of our satellites that orbit the Earth. You can do a lot of damage to the internet because a lot of our internet signals go through space. And the Chinese are also looking at mining the moon for natural resources as well as asteroids. And they have a very long-term strategic plan for basically dominating Earth orbit, the moon, and eventually getting to the asteroid belt and Mars. And we seem to be playing catch up.
Yeah, kind of dominant is not where I want to be. We want to be totally dominant, not like, well, maybe a little. But it makes perfect sense if you want to explain to someone what's the importance of this is. Forever, high ground is the ultimate goal. You always want to get on the hill, and this is the ultimate high ground. It makes perfect sense. Like that's all that needs to be said about the importance of it. Let's back up just a second. Let's talk about SpaceX for a minute, can we? Yeah. So what's interesting about this? Why is this noteworthy, this launch?
Well, it's noteworthy because, first of all, it's the first time we're launching our people from a ship of American origin. We've had to rent the Russian space capsule. We have to pay the Russians to launch. So this is the first time since 2011 with the last space shuttle flight that we were able to do something like this. And it's also important because it's with a private space company. So before it was always a NASA project. They had the headlines. They provided most of the resources. Yeah, they would outsource to Boeing or Lockheed, but it was a NASA program. It was a government program. Very expensive to do. Elon Musk has been competing to get access to these launches because he can lower the cost significantly. And the fact that his rockets are all American built, as opposed to relying on parts from Russia, we can do it from here. It makes it a much easier mission to accomplish, putting our people in orbit. It becomes routine as opposed to this huge undertaking. It will just be like getting on an airplane and going, up to New York from Florida. And that's what they're trying to do is you lower the costs to launches, which is the most expensive part usually of space operations. You suddenly make space available to almost anyone because it's affordable then.
Slater Crusaders, thanks for watching the first on YouTube. If you want more, like, subscribe. We got plenty.